May 14th, 2024, 7 p.m. I'd like to call the Town of Lake Mills Town Board monthly meeting to order. Notice is posted at the Town Hall on the town's website. Can we get a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
I will make that motion to approve.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Can we get a motion to approve the monthly meeting minutes from April 9th, 2024?
Make a motion to approve the April 9th meeting minutes as printed.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Can we get a motion to approve the special meeting on May 8th?
I'll make that motion to approve meeting minutes of May 8th, 2024.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Can we get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Make a motion to approve the May 2024 Treasurer's Report.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Town board expense sheets.
Sharon had one this time around for $71.23, which includes mileage to the courthouse for tax stuff and then postage.
Make a motion to approve the expense sheet for Sharon.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Can we get approval for the general fund vouching?
I'll make a motion to approve May's disbursements of $73,494.58.
72 or 73?
73,494.
Second that motion.
Any other discussion?
Not a big deal. I was gonna bring this up last month, but, when we, approve the expense sheets, and like for Sharon, when the expense sheet is already on here, do we have to do it twice, or can that just be done once?
Well, expense sheets, my understanding is they should be approved as a board before they're actually expended.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's kind of why we do it.
All right. Gotcha.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Reports, police report. I have an announcement that the town board of the Town of Lake Mills has appointed a new chief of police, Robert Kaminsky, and he's right here. I'll let him get up and say a few words.
Well, I just want to thank the board for appointing me as the new police chief. And I look forward to, and I've already started working for the town board, phone calls and emails, so a few of them. So look forward to working with everybody, and I'm looking forward to it. So my retirement gig, here we go.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're pretty blessed to have you, that's for sure. All right, plan commission report.
We did a building placement for Randy Cool on Newville Road. We discussed land split division with Kathy Zimmerman and Mike Stady, the owner of the property on Cool Road. They're going to take it back and take some suggestions that the plan commission gave them and probably bring it back in the future. And then we approved the conditional use for Jason Forrest. I don't see him here. That's it.
Maybe they'll be rolling in here.
All right, Cambridge Fire and EMS report, Dave.
Not a lot happened in our last meeting. There was a commissioner's vote was challenged if his vote was legal. So then the whole meeting was just pretty much discussion. There was no decisions made. And then our town's attorney has made a legal, whatever you call it, to the offender, the thought of the commissioner's vote was not legal, and his determination was once the chair has appointed a committee member and there's discussion and it is voted on and by majority vote, then it's automatically becomes what you say?
Binding?
What's that?
Binding?
Yeah, binding at that time. You do not have to wait for the minutes. So,
Okay. Town chairman, Joint Rock Lake Committee report. Wendy, she's here tonight.
Right. We have a resignation on our team from the city. Kevin Lerner resigned for personal reasons, and they assigned a new person, Lauren Egert, and she was at our last meeting and sworn in and was able to vote, and that was good. Our biggest projects right now, as I've said before, are educational articles for the leader, and hopefully you're approving some of them later in the meeting today, I see. We continue to stay abreast of the potential Lake District for Rock Lake team that's investigating that, and we will be attending their meetings as their planning meetings. Their past meeting that was supposed to be a public meeting ended up canceling, and they're planning on, I think there'll be one May 23rd coming up at the community center they're going to do a roundtable session where they'll address different topics. And they, I guess, just previously, I think just this past month, presented to the town board and to the city council on the same night just some ideas of what's going on with their team. The RLIA provided a video presentation and discussion regarding wake boat recreation. They've asked us to work with them on wake enhancement technology for Rock Lake, and we will continue to work with them. There's no presumed decisions of what may or may not be done with that process, but our team is going to have discussion on our next agenda to decide where we think things should go. Colton from the County Land and Water provided us with a presentation regarding vegetation in the mill pond and the potential mill pond dredging, which has not been finalized yet, but what effect would this have on the invasive species as well as the healthy species that we want to see continuing to grow, and talked also about dredging, what they're just calling like the channel, where boats would go to the channel under the bridges, or do they want to put some fingers in for people? We elected officers. I will continue to be the chairperson. Daniel will be the vice chair, and Lauren will be taking minutes. And Pat Stevens did re-up for the next term. We discussed the summary of the studies required to evaluate the RLIA proposal for water level order change on Rock Lake. The City Council did approve a resolution authorizing the use of council contingency fund for the survey for up to 40 community sites around Rock Lake by the DNR. So they're going to help fund that. I don't know that the town has been approached with any funding requests other than generally they may request it, is what it says. The City Council has encouraged the Joint Rock Lake Committee to provide input on matters within the jurisdiction of our committee with no need to seek additional approval before pursuing matters within that jurisdiction. So in other words, venture out into important things that are in legislation or that we hear from other people or we hear from you, and go ahead and start investigating and making recommendations. And I tried to look it up, but I don't know, and maybe Sharon can help me, but or Robin, excuse me. The Joint Rock Lake Committee, I think last year or the year before, we made a recommendation to the board that the Parks Committee would be responsible for replacing the missing and or damaged clean boats, clean water tools, and we don't know what happened to that because there's some that are missing and need to be replaced, and we just want to know what to tell people to do when that happens.
I don't even know what to do because somebody keeps playing games with the tools.
Yeah.
We have some in the closet in here.
Yeah,
Just
no,
have to-
but I'm talking about the ones on the boards.
Yeah,
And
those
then-
are the ones in.
And then we got an email from somebody saying that they replaced them all down at the landings.
Oh, yeah, they stored them for the winter.
From an independent organization, and they didn't even tell us that they took them off the boards. So, it doesn't help.
What would you like us to do about anything with that? I mean, we could talk about it, and I think it's the RLIA that did send out a message about some being missing, and they had replaced some, but
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of disheartening because you run around and then you know, you don't know who's doing what, and it's the town's responsibility. I think it always has been. It's our board.
I think we just need to work on making a plan so we know who's going to be doing it moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be more than happy to have the JRLC do it for sure.
Okay, we'll put it on our agenda.
It'd be excellent.
And I guess, is there anything else you'd like us to do any research on? Let us know. That's where we're at. Thank you.
That'll be some later topics.
Okay, thank you.
All right, town chairman report, city, county, and state. City just attended the Public Works Board meeting. They had the yard waste site discussion again. The city council did approve moving the site out to CP, on the end of CP, and developing a larger site. There has been discussion with the town board and the city on, you know, town participation in that at some point as well, but that's gonna take a little bit of time. I think they gotta get that off the ground and figure out how everything's gonna work, and work the bugs out of it. But that is on their radar. From the county, Jim, you can talk about this too if you want to. Apparently the county met with Daybreak Foods. I don't believe the DNR showed up. Essentially, and it sounds to me like the counties, between the county and the state, they're kind of taking over on the Daybreak Foods issues with the odor. But it did sound like there was some delays going on with the utility company that pushed that obviously pushed some things off, which led to the digester and the anaerobic becoming aerobic, changing back, and that's where a lot of the stink was coming from. So hopefully it looks like there's at least some type of plan here going forward if things stay on track. The only other thing that has to be done is hopefully they provide some type of communication in one of the methods that was discussed by the county. So that's all I have on that. So there is progress on it, and we'll see where that goes.
There were two questions that are remaining, and one was, will the Daybreak hold some type of open meeting? And they're supposed to be responding back to the county on that. And will Daybreak provide a handout to share with the county stressed instances, importance of doing either or both of these. So as far as timelines, they didn't know what would be done, but Steve Nass and Patricia Cicero kind of heading that up, so we'll see what happens. But there's Daybreak's supposed to come back with answers to those two questions and go forward from there. So there is some progress, I guess. So.
Okay, roads. Obviously, Corey issued some driveway permits. The Rock Lake boat launch design is completed. Permit application is already readied, and that grant application will be submitted in the June cycle of DNR recreational boating facility grant. There is another upcoming meeting on May 23rd because Corey wasn't able to get in on the link for the Parks Committee meeting at the county. So they'll be revisiting that because apparently they weren't overly agreeable and they made their own design change on the map, and I don't think any of them are engineers, but from my perspective, but trying to land a boat on an angle from that landing with the south wind coming in there is probably going to capsize boats and be more detrimental to the lake than anything else. So hopefully Corey will be able to attend that meeting and explain some of the safety ramifications there and why they engineered it the way they did. Rock Lake Road, they found that the diggers did not locate all the utilities in the quarter at the time of the survey, so they had to be remarked and surveyed. The plans are being updated to include the utilities. He did provide, and this came in late in the day, so I apologize to the board, I haven't gotten it over yet. Kind of a timeline, so bidding's looking like start 7/10/24, end 8/7/24. That would come before our August board meeting to make a decision on the bids that come back in our 8/13 meeting. Contract award, obviously 8/14, and then pre-construction meeting 819 mobilization, all that kind of goes from there, depending on what we decide as a board at that time on the bids and how they come in. But the overall goal is to try to keep things moving and streamline it with the state, so there's less, there's a seamless transition in the asphalt process to solidify the road, essentially, rather than patching it in later. So that is the road report. Potholes, there's still plenty of them out there, and I know Matt's trying to work on them. So hopefully we can get that cleaned up here in the next week and a half. Get that fixed. I haven't heard a whole lot on trees. Made it through a couple of storms, I guess, without too many falling, so that's good news. Had an email from the Korth Park Lane, and the county will be doing that project to fix that gutterway. So he's trying to get that lined up with something else. So he should be in communication with the county now to fix that gutterway that's going up that road that washed out. Trying to think, I think that's about it. Parks Committee report. I was not at the last meeting, and I don't think Jason submitted anyone. So.
No, that I'm aware of. Okay.
Town Hall Facilities Committee.
We haven't met. I think we have it on the agenda to get some direction from you guys on what's next for us. So.
All right. Period of public comment. This is the time the general public can come to the podium. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes, and please state your name and address.
Karen Orcott, N6608 East White Oak Drive. Been hearing a few things about the formation of a lake management district. So I am all for a clean, healthy, and attractive lake, and thanks to the following organizations, we are not experiencing major issues right now. The organizations involved are the Town of Lake Mills, which has jurisdiction over the lake, the City of Lake Mills, which is advisory, Rock Lake Improvement Association, Joint Rock Lake Committee, Jefferson County Land and Water Conservation Department, Jefferson County Soil Builders, and Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Through these organizations, we already can receive loans and grants. The DNR is already, or the DNR and the Jefferson County Land and Water Conservation is already monitoring Rock Lake to ensure quality of the lake. The Town of Lake Mills has written many ordinances to protect the lake safety and also fund lake patrol. The town has also organized volunteers for clean boats and clean water. We have seen people in numbers going to these organizations reporting frustrations such as the water level issue, and they have received some success, thanks to rain too. I oppose the watershed because I don't want to see another mandatory taxation. I believe it is not the sole responsibility of the riparian owners, which is one of the things that came up when I first started going to some of the meetings. The whole watershed is involved, and other off-lake properties benefit from the lake as well. I've read a bit about the Lake Ripley District. We are not just talking about getting funds and doing a project, it's more like a business. We will have facility rent expense and other fees, payroll taxes and reports, work comp expense, general insurance expense, utility expense, advertising fee expense, vehicle expense, equipment expense, and legal attorney fees. Lake Ripley now has 7 employees. And the employees are a manager, a field tech, a nature reserve tech, clean boats, clean water tech, weed harvester job, water quality tech job. They have purchased a weed harvester and a truck for hauling. These also need storage. In the most recent minutes, it noted that they were over budget on insurance, weed harvesting, vehicle expense, and legal notices and fees. Would we be better off donating to the Town of Lake Mills or a Jefferson County fund formed for new projects? Some people have been more successful in their careers and can do this. Others are retired on fixed incomes, and some are younger adults starting new careers but trying to hold on to property given to them but can barely pay their taxes now. And in thinking of that type of donation, I was thinking of the example of a large donation that was made to Jefferson County. That's to provide $5,000 per year for many years for the cover crop to curb off runoff. And I thought, this is an anonymous person, and I would like to thank that person for doing that.
Thank you. Any others? Going once, going twice. All right, applications. Discussion or decision of request for a conditional use permit to allow for extensive residential on-site storage addition, 588 square feet onto existing 560 square feet garage for a total of 1,148 square feet with a height of 19 at North 6286 Corth Highlands Road.
I missed the name. Jason's here.
Jason, that's you.
Yes.
You're up.
Just adding on to an existing garage, Jason Forrest and 6286 Corth Islands. Adding on to an existing garage for personal storage. Went to the planning commission last week, they approved.
Yep, we didn't have any issues. Plan
No
commission.
sightline issues, no lot line issues, or utilities, all that stuff. So, pretty simple.
All right.
It's over by about
Motion.
1,000 feet, I guess, on a combined building, not across, over by about 103 feet or something on a combined, so that's why they call it extensive use stuff. It's not anything about that, I guess.
Make a motion to approve the conditional use permit for the extensive storage building in a height of 19 feet for Jason and Kathy Forrest.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision or request for a special event made by Garrett Wilson of Race Day Events for the Lake Mills Triathlon to be held June 2nd, 2024 through the Lake Mills area.
I'm back again for Lake Mills Triathlon. It's going to be the same as it has been in previous years. I've got new ALS people that have already contacted. I contacted Cambridge and Brian Miller. I talked to Chief Kaminsky earlier this morning. I talked to JSAC. I talked with the sheriff's deputy for the county. I'd be on our approval. Do you have any questions?
I think the EMS was the big one because it was, I think there was question marks on this report, expansive report. And thank you, appreciate the effort that you put into it. Every year you guys have improved, which is great to see, and really concentrating on safety, which is really good. The only other thing I added is, I don't know if you've driven those roads. Okay. Yeah, and that might be something in the future, because we actually have a grant application out for Mud Lake Road, and we might hear back this week. I don't know, the state's way behind, but obviously that would be a couple years out, but that road's probably not gonna improve a whole lot until that gets done, but just so you're aware. Yeah, you can always call me or whatever, and, and we do have a road rating guide to that you can access. We can get that to you, and you might want to kind of go off that a little bit too. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
Nope, I don't. I'll make a motion to approve the Lake Mills Triathlon on 6/2/24, starting at 7 a.m. and ending at 1 p.m., I'm assuming, right?
Second motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Welcome. Have a great evening. Discussion or decision of driveway permit for Remington Humble on. No, you're done.
We had this put on, I asked to have this put on because there's a lot of controversy over the driveway that
Yeah, I
they
saw
were
it.
requesting. Anyway, I met with Corey, Steve Holman, the contractor, and the owner, Remington Punzel. last Friday out there at the site, and driveway was pretty much in, you know, the base outline of it. There's no need for a culvert, we decided. The slopes are within our ordinance standard, they're under 16% or 13 to 14% at the steepest parts. We request the turnout at midpoint, we outlined where that needed to be, and we agreed on a location for that. The radiuses are over 50 feet, so there are minimums 50 feet, so they complied with that. So, and the turnaround, we discussed the turnaround at the building, which has to be like a hammerhead, 60 feet, so a fire truck can go in, turn around, pull back out. They have room to do that. After that discussion, the owner, or Steve Holman, actually agreed to put together a drawing and submit it to Corey by Sunday night. I did not hear if that was done.
It did, and I got the copy late today of the approved permit from Corey.
Okay. Then there was still, in my mind, a question on the zoning and how, because I asked them how they could, or if they had a zoning permit, and they said no, they didn't have one yet. They have the building laid out where they want it. So I checked with the county. It's an AT zone, which is an agricultural transition area. I've never heard of that one, but it's pretty much the same as an A1, so it does allow a shed to be built without a principal building, and it's under 5 acres, so it doesn't need a building placement from the town. And I asked them about if they had a zoning permit, and he said no, they do not, because in order for the county to issue a zoning permit, they have to have a fire number. And in order to issue a fire number, you gotta know where the driveway is.
Yes.
So that was, this driveway permit. was
Pending on the
holding up-
permit. Yeah.
Was holding up all that stuff, so that's all taken care of now. And then I did ask about the pond at the zoning, and they didn't talk to Matt, but Matt said that, at the county, said that they did talk to the zoning department. And I asked him about the 75-foot setback, if that's required. He said he would look at it again. So when they go in for their zoning permit, then county will review that. That's not our issue right now. So anyway, everything was worked out that day. It was a good meeting. Hopefully they'll get going.
Yep, I think Remington contacted me when we found out about the approved permit, and he's going to get his fire number and the rest of it ASAP. So.
Okay. All right, discussion or decision or request for special event made by Raina Severson of Legendary Lake Mills for the 2025 Knickerbocker. This was tabled.
Make a motion to bring it back off the table.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Representing Raina, Hope Ozdike, co-chairman of the Knickerbocker event, which will happen on the first Saturday of February 2025.
Weather permitting, right?
Weather permitting. Let it be said, I will say it again this year, that I think the fee is absolutely outrageous. It's kind of gotten to be a community joke that you are charging the Lake Mills Community Foundation and the Lake Mills Legendary Group $500 for your administration of this permit. But let that be said, another year, I'm pretty sure that you will grant us that permit. I will ask also that you refund the permit fee if we are unable to go ahead, if we have bad weather on that day. I have not met our new police chief. I am happy to meet you and discuss this at any point. And if there are any questions tonight, we as an organization decided that we were going to forward our permits early in the year this year so that we would be ready to go and not have to drag behind in November or December. So that's where we're at. Any questions? I'd be happy to entertain them. I do think your fee is outrageous, and I wish that you would consider re-looking at that idea.
I'll make a motion to approve the Knickerbocker Festival for 2025 And if it cannot be held, the money will be refunded.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Old business, discussion or decision of the North End Boat Launch Project. I don't think there's-
It was just if there's anything else we needed to do in the grant process or with the DNR permits that Corey's got to take out, but he's going to, I think he's, like you said, he already submitted the DNR permits and they'll be billing us for those fees because it all has to be done online. So we'll be seeing that in the next bill.
Otherwise, we can just
Yeah, move forward, yeah.
move forward. Yeah. All right, discussion or decision of appointments for various positions on committees and commission of the town.
I think you should back up and tell us what you're doing at the North End Boat Launch.
That's been discussed at, I don't know, for a lot of meetings. We're looking at adding another pad in the lake because of the significant washout in the lake that we had to fix a year ago. And that also happened at our Ferry Park launch. But it's a kind of a redesign and make it a little bit easier to turn into that landing the way it's designed. Because right now, a good percentage of the boat trailers are riding over the concrete platform. Some of them ride over the top of the pier when they're trying to turn their boats and get them into the lake. And that's a massive pedestrian hazard, especially when there's little kids and everything else. So it's been re-engineered where the turnaround radius would work for the boats that are going in. So they're not destroying our pier and the landing pads, and of course, hopefully eliminating the safety hazard. So hopefully that's going to solve a lot of the issues, and especially the power loading issue. And that power loading issue was actually at the request of the DNR. When we went to get our permit, that took like 6 months to re-pull the stuff back into the hole on the end of the pad. So I'm hoping that this grant effort will be a slam dunk and that we can afford to make the improvements down there.
Will that pad extend far enough into the water so that they can't power load in?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you wouldn't be able to drive far enough in, or you
Yeah, okay.
lose your vehicle essentially.
Okay, good.
Do you have county input on this, since this is a shared area?
Yeah, that's going through their Parks Committee. Our engineer actually hopefully be at the next meeting.
This is not a new issue.
No.
Parks Committee met on it once already, but our engineer couldn't attend because their
Link wasn't working.
link wasn't working that day. So you said it's 23rd again?
Till May 23rd.
May 23rd, there's another meeting.
Yep.
Parks.
Go back to, this is not a new issue. This is not a new issue at all in either one of these parks or any other one of the parks.
No, it's going to be an ongoing issue.
I'm not sure that you could ever solve the issue of people backing their trailers in the world of today by doing anything like this, but I applaud your efforts to do so.
Well, I think you got to do the right thing and have it engineered. I think by a professional engineer, and that's what we had done. I think that's all you can do, and that's called due diligence. All right, moving on. Discussion or decision of appointments for various positions on committees and commissions of the town. Which one do you want to address? Plan commission
We
first?
should have
Plan
had a
commission.
copy of it.
Yeah, I do have.
Past
them. Just
packets,
gotta find them here. And my stack.
because I think I gave a copy of it last month to you guys.
You have to reappoint him again, and then this one, we need to fill that spot.
Starting with plan commission, you said?
Starting with plan commission, I would like to reappoint Jim Batiste to the plan commission.
I make a motion to appoint Jim Batiste to the Plan Commission for another 2-year term.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. And now we need to replace Steve Zekoff, and there was an application from an Elise. I can't think of the last name.
Gertz?
Gertz.
This one, Steve Carey's.
Can we get a motion, like to appoint?
You were on.
Like to appoint Elise Gerdes to the Plan Commission?
I make a motion to appoint Elise Garrix to the Planning Commission for a 2-year term.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, say nay, motion carries.
Any spelling? Gerdes.
And then like to reappoint Jim Hines as a town board member to the Plan Commission.
I'll make that motion to reappoint Jim.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, say nay, motion carries. Joint Rock Lake Committee, I did not hear anything back from Trish Fullerton on reappointment, and I don't believe we have an application for that. And I believe the city reappointed a new member, and I don't remember her name.
Was that Pat that got reappointed?
Pat got reappointed,
And-
Lauren Egert.
Lauren Egert.
Okay.
Replaced, finished his term.
Okay, so we have one vacancy then.
One vacancy, yep.
Okay.
Town, let me just make sure. Town of Lake Mills Parks Committee, there's only one position on there, I believe.
One vacant?
Yeah, one vacant, one to Zulke.
Oh. Okay.
Well, we can
Well,
go back,
Jason
we'll go
Shear.
back, we'll start with Jason. We'll
Yeah,
make a
Jason
motion to
is-
reappoint Jason Shear.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay, motion
And it's
carries.
another 2-year term, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I'd like to appoint Donna Grzinski, another 2-year term.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And then there's vacant position. Did you hear back from Elise on that?
She said she's not willing to take on both yet.
Okay,
'Cause that's
all
more
right,
than
that's all we need to know. Then there's
yeah,
one-
she's brand new to this, so she's like, that's
Yep.
more than she wants.
Then there's one vacant, and then I need to be reappointed.
I make a motion to reappoint Tom Beagle to the Parks Committee for 2 years?
3.
Or 1 year? 3 year? Okay, another term.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Library Board Town appointed members.
Yeah, we don't have to
You're
do
good.
anything
They're-
yet.
We don't need a cable TV one.
Public Works Board is next. I'd like to appoint Jason Shear to that.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. And that's,
Dave Schrader.
well, Cambridge Fire Department Representative Dave Schrader. I'd like to appoint Dave Schrader. Reappoint. Sorry, Dave.
All right.
Did you second it?
I'll second it if that was a motion.
I'll make a motion to
I'll
appoint
second.
Dave. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
We'll make sure we get a new oath and stuff in place too, because it's been how many years since the last time it was officially,
Like 2006.
right. So, we'll get up to date.
Can have that back. Okay, moving on. Discussion or decision of creating government emails for town offices.
Still kind of working with a couple different places to see who can work on getting the grants and such that they say is available, so still a
Okay.
work in progress.
Are we gonna do them all, everybody?
I think that's one thing we do need to determine, because that's one question I keep running into, is just how many we need, and so we can determine what the costs are. And if they're gonna be created, they're gonna be kind of long-term. So obviously, 5 board members. I would say the chief of police and maybe public or a general email for the police department. That's how we currently have it set up. And then if anything beyond that, that's basically.
Committee members and stuff, they use their own
Correct,
email, personal email.
That's just because of the
Or they-
cost that could be
or they
associated
use
to
the
these.
town,
They use their personal ones.
their personal ones.
Yeah.
And I will say and there's been a rampage of ransom viruses and whatnot the
Yes.
last couple months.
Yeah.
And not that you're immune to it with a government email, but at least you have something to fall back on.
Right.
Because it's a big problem right now, and I don't see that getting any better. So it would be nice, I think, for everyone to have that
Yeah.
protection.
If you guys can think of any other part of the town functions that would need a separate email, let me know. But I'm guessing 7 is kind of what I've been telling people initially what we would need, so.
Okay. All right, discussion or decision of Cambridge Fire EMS intergovernmental agreement rewrite.
Now, if you saw the emails coming in this afternoon from our attorney.
I tend to.
Total non-starter.
Oh,
Totally not. That's all you can
They
say.
threw out the baby, the water, and the tub.
yeah, I totally agree. I think I kind of agree with Eric that we need to sit down with the village of Rockdale, the town of Christiana, and the town of Lake Mills, with Eric there.
Yeah.
Do they realize?
I agree.
Do you need to explain what's going on?
Get everybody on the same page.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, it didn't make a lot of sense. I mean. it
Oh,
was-
no, I mean, don't read it before you eat. It'll lose your appetite.
I think the non-starter thing for me is the voting.
Correct.
Shares.
I agree.
I think that's the main issue. It used to be the 5 municipalities, each one had 1 vote. Town of Oakland and Village of Cambridge want to rewrite the agreement so that Cambridge would have 2 voting shares. Oakland would have 3, Christiana 2, Lake Mills 1, Rockdale 1. So 9 voting shares now. Our attorney's comment was that Cambridge and Oakland could control all the votes.
Right.
Plus, that's 1 person gets those 3 votes, which I don't get that at all, but,
Right.
same
Well,
person
that
can vote.
doesn't make any sense, and you're not gonna have a 9-person board. That's crazy. So.
The other thing is, I don't know how they figured that. I imagine they did it on equalized value percentage.
I would
but
say.
I don't think they're aware that the
Town of Lake
Town of
Mills.
Lake Mills equalized value is 544 million. Cambridge is 255 million. Oakland is 530 million. Town of Lake Mills is the largest community in that whole department.
And
We get 1 vote.
We're 50% of the EMS district.
I don't think they're aware of that at all.
Yeah, I don't think
They
so.
think they're the biggest ones. Well, they're wrong. So anyway,
The math didn't
and
match.
that's from Department of Revenue.
There's not a lot of math going on.
No.
So anyway,
No.
I think
You
you're
guys
right,
have been
Dave.
there.
We need to have a meeting.
Yep.
So, do you need to make a motion to set up that meeting? So that I can give the directive to the attorney, what we plan on doing?
I'll make a motion that we have a meeting with Rockdale, Christiana, Lake Mills, and the attorney.
I will second that.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
I'll work on getting that set up.
Discussion and enter decision of IGA with City of Lake Mills for building inspection services.
Did the city vote on this?
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought they did.
I don't know for sure. I don't know where it
I
sits
thought
on
I
that.
saw it on the council thing, but I don't know where.
I don't think anybody's here on that either. I feel like they did, but let me
I
just check.
thought they did too, but I was out of town, so. I'm just-
The only other thing is we have a contract with Safe Build,
Yep.
and we have to give them 90 days notice.
Well, and I was looking at that today and how we can work that because we have active permits that they're managing right now, and we could phase them out as those permits are processed through in the next 90 days, and then whatever is left at that 90-day deadline, I think either they reimburse us the fees for the remaining costs of the future inspections, but I think if we entered a contract with the city and they start from new permits going forward now, they would manage the permits that are coming in yet, while Safe Built finishes the permits that they currently have.
Well,
That's
would-
what I
Yeah, I would
get
want
it.
to run that by our attorney to make sure that that's,
Yep.
and talk with Safe Built and get this agreed on, so we don't get sued or something.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and it
Because
doesn't
you're breaking a
sound,
contract.
yeah, and Safe Built's not, you know, they're not really doing their job, so I mean, that isn't a question for the attorney because.
But if you look at the contract, the way it's worded, it says like a no-fault type. So if they're not doing their job, that's a no-fault clause in there, if you read that section of the contract.
Yeah,
Just
that's
saying,
a
I
bad
think we should have our
contract.
attorney read it and give us an opinion.
Okay.
That's my opinion. You want a motion on that?
Yeah,
I'll make a motion that we have our attorney look at this and see how we can break this agreement.
Second.
any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Should we table this other item too? Keep it on here.
Well, any conditions to approve? Talk about the IGA with the city, right?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll make a motion that we enter an intergovernmental agreement between the city and Lake Mills for the building inspection services, contingent on being able to break the agreement with Safe Built and contingent that the city of Lake Mills approve us entering this IGA.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Okay.
New business, discussion or decision of possible solutions for stop sign at Stockbridge Court, Woodfield Lane. Tyson got back to us.
Yeah, with the words.
Yeah, I think that's the cheapest option.
Well, I think we
I'm
should
not sure.
try that for a while.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I went down there 2 days ago. I mean, there's a fairly decent wind stream through there, but it's not always like that. But I tend to drive down that road quite a bit, and I mean, in the middle of the day, it's just dead. I mean, I have to suspect it's happening during rush hour.
Is it possible people aren't seeing it? I mean, obviously people that live there should know what's there. Is it because somebody suggested, why don't they paint like a white line with the word stop
And
on
we
it?
could do, we could do that, except, you know, painting it on pea gravel doesn't show up quite as nice as blacktop.
Very true.
Yeah, you'd have to do it every year.
Yeah.
Snowplow's
Okay.
gonna push it off.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, that could be done as well, and it's pretty inexpensive.
Right.
What if we just put in a summertime speed bump? So it's removed, you know, before
In the winter?
winter comes. I mean, reroute it in there.
I haven't had a chance to talk to the residents that live right, I mean,
Oh,
literally,
boom, boom.
one's got a driveway right on the
Yeah.
intersection, like it's a four-way stop.
Wow.
But I would be interested to hear their perspective on it. Because I go down there quite a bit, and I can't say as I've witnessed it happen. I have witnessed it happen down at the North Landing. It happens all the time. And that's why we painted the lines down there. But I think a starting point is getting the whirlybird on anyway. That was a request by the electors, and
Yes.
it's inexpensive, and
I'd be concerned, you know, thinking about the speed bumps. Who's going to take care of that each season? Who's going to install?
bolt them into the ground and unbolt
Right.
them, and hope that they unbolt.
Matt Housen.
Jason?
He could get rid of them in
He's
one-
hiding
one
back there.
snow plow, right?
Yeah, just push it off with that, pick it up in the spring, there you go.
One swoop. Okay, get a motion to at
I
least.
make a motion to approve the whirly flags on top of the stop. There's 3 stop signs there, right?
Correct.
There's 3. Yep.
Yes, 3, yeah.
At Woodfield Lane and Stockbridge Court intersection.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision of proposed articles from the Joint Rock Lake Committee to be published.
boating safety tips first.
Yep.
I mean, I do have one comment, Wendy, on that one. On second page, follow navigation and other rules on the water. Never allow passengers to ride on gun walls. Actually, that's illegal, correct?
It is illegal.
So I think it needs to be stronger language than never allow.
Okay.
Should say something like this is illegal and seatbacks. That's the only comment I had on that one.
So we're good with the amendment on that one.
So I make a motion to approve the publishing of the boating safety tips with that change.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Boating safety tips, was that another one? That one's kind of, I thought there were 3, but I ended up with 4.
I think that was another section of it, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an additional page to
that's
it.
all.
Included, okay, sorry.
Paddle sports and cold water was one.
Yeah, paddle sports and cold water is one, and then I think there's bait laws. Is another one.
What's this, the bait one?
Yep.
Here we go with that one. The first, I just had a couple of typos. The first sentence, it says,
Which one are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Joint Rock, 3:27:24, you can tune a piano, but you
Not can't tune a fish.
Okay.
Good eye catcher.
First sentence, or second sentence, the general inland fishing season started, because it's May.
Yep.
I understand these were gonna be published 2 months ago, but
Sure.
they have to be kinda cleaned up a little bit, because they're past May 4th. And then under bait laws and boaters and angles, second bullet point, you may not transport any live, shouldn't that be bait fish? Because you can transport a live fish if you caught a bass or something that was legal, had it in your car, live. It says live bait fish, isn't that the intent? Okay, just check on that. That was the only comment I had.
Can we get a motion to approve that
I
one?
make a motion to approve the publishing of that article.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Paddle sports in cold water, yeah, we're past May. Hypothermia is probably not an issue right now, but it will be again in the fall.
Yep.
So if you just kind of rewrite the first paragraph to indicate that spring and fall, that's all. And then I make a motion to approve the publishing of that, whenever you want to. Maybe you want to postpone that and publish it later, but whatever, it's approved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Discussion and or decision of Ferry Park Boat Launch Pier. I don't think there's a real good way to lower it. And I don't know if you guys, the only reason to purchase a new pier is if we were actually purchasing for Elm Point. Because if the landing project at the North Landing goes through and we reuse the pier that's at the North Landing over at Ferry, if that's doable, Elm Point Pier is in pretty disrepair too, so that would be the only reason I could think of to, because, you know, the one at Ferry Park's a residential pier, and it takes a beating. Elm Point doesn't get quite as much pressure, so, you know, you could possibly get away with that down there. But we'd have to get prices, and we'd have to get, you know, what is workable, but none of that's been done yet.
So this is for Ferry Park,
Yeah, Ferry Park.
Elm Point's really.
The pier sits high, the water's still, you know, low, but the bolts and apparently, as far as the rest of it, Matt put it all back together. Somehow the nuts got loose on the whole thing. He said every one of them was loose. So I don't know what's going on down there, but he put everything new on there and tightened everything up, and he said it was good to go.
I haven't been out there and this year yet. Last year I was out there, and of course the water was low, but I don't think that even mattered, because there's probably 3 feet between the water level and the
Right.
underside of the pier, and that was a windy day, and my boat blew underneath there, and I could just see somebody's foot getting smashed between the boat and the underside of that pier, or hand, or whatever.
Yeah.
That, it's just a disaster. Is there a way to put some side shields on that thing so boats can't drift underneath it?
Probably have to be
That's the only
welded.
real issue.
Probably have to be welded.
Isn't there 2 piers at the north end? Could both be reused?
But they're gonna be used for this year yet, though.
We gotta use them this year, so it's not solving the immediate, imminent problem, I guess, is what.
Yeah, the north end is, or Elm Point is almost unusable.
D.L. Anderson looked at that pier, that ferry, and,
Yeah.
yeah, new pier.
We gotta look at what the liability is on the town.
And if you start welding on it and all that other stuff, you're liable too for
Right.
dock modification or whatever without. So
So you want to table this?
I think we should get a motion to get prices on, something that would potentially work at Elm Point as well.
At both? Or just
Yeah.
Okay.
In the event that everything goes through and the other pier gets moved, and that way we can repurpose things and not be out 2 piers.
Make a motion that we get estimates for replacing the pier at Ferry Park and Elm Point, and have Tom do it.
Yep, second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision of property owner's request for joint meeting with DNR, County, and Towns in regards to complaints about Creekwood Farms. I think we explained that already.
Yeah, that was,
Good for now. Discussion or decision of request for wake boat ordinance regulations. There's a couple state ones that went to the table and didn't really make it anywhere. I got my notes somewhere here on that. I want to say one of them was 680. Let's see where it all disappeared to there in my pile. No, it's not in that one. I had written right on the sheet. It's a single page. Let's just get. Here it is. So there was a couple different pieces that went. There was AB 656, which was a 200 foot to shore. That was Republican out of Rhinelander, Rob Swearigan. SB 680 from Mary Felskowski from Tomahawk. It was a very similar looking legislation that got turned back. And then there was an SB 1016 that I thought had promise from Andre Jock from De Pere, which is Republican, prohibiting lakes less than 1,500 acres, 20 foot in depth and 700 foot from shore. Once again, I think we need, I would like to see the Joint Rock Lake Committee want to investigate the whole thing again, essentially, and conduct a letter, not only to these representatives, but our own state representatives in this area, as to support for state legislation for this, so we don't end up with 1,000 different ordinances on this voting regulations. Because my feeling is that there's going to be legal issues, legal ramifications. And the other thing is you can write the best legal ordinance and people start modifying their boats. And then they say they're not on wakeboard anymore. So I think there needs to be unification, and I think the state needs to, have the backing, so we don't end up with legal ramifications when they have the legal power we don't at our disposal. So that's my recommendation on it.
yeah, and then from the emails I've received this last week, I think Rock Lake Improvement Association and Joint Rock Lake Committee are looking into this already, correct? So, but it started out with a request from our past police chief, sent it to us because of some lakes around us. Lake Ripley has an ordinance, and he felt that there would be more pressure on Rock Lake, so he wanted a quick fix to it, but I don't think there is a quick fix to it either. But if you took the ordinance that Lake Ripley did, the paragraph which is wake enhancement prohibited, we don't need to, the town would not need to create a whole entire new ordinance because we already have ordinance 5-2, regulation of water traffic, boating and water sports upon the waters of Rock Lake. So it would just be an amendment to that ordinance to put that paragraph in there, and you'd have Lake Ripley's ordinance. But I agree with Tom, it should be investigated and looked into, and I wish the state would do it.
Yeah, well, in the one legislative piece you even had in there, that it kind of nullified all the ordinances, essentially that were more aggressive than what they would let. I mean, so the whole thing is there's a circus right now, but it really needs, that guidance really needs to come from professionals, and the one, thing also said it needs to be based on science, standards. And that's why it really needs to come from the state, because otherwise you're just gonna have a lot of people shooting from the hip, and you're gonna have ordinances all over the board. And that's really not fair to boaters either, because it's gonna make them guess on what they can do and can't do. Makes it very difficult for law enforcement.
Yeah, it makes it difficult to enforce.
Yeah, so. I don't know if we need a motion to move that to the JRLC full board.
I'll make a motion that we request that the Joint Rock Lake Committee investigate this, write letters to the state, whatever it takes to move this forward.
I'll just amend it that we'd like to see the letters before they go out to the state reps.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Yeah, decision or discussion or decision of request for Jake Bricks ordinance regulations.
Another one.
This
I struggle. You know what I struggle with, Dave? At about 3-4 o'clock every morning, and I live in Shorewood Hills. There's a big dip on I-94.
Yeah.
And they let her rip.
Yeah.
And you can hear
it all.
You can hear it loud as day. And so I don't know how the enforcement and.
What I struggle with, Tom, is the guys that, they start usually about 4:30 in the morning with those 6 and 8 inch straight pipes. And they just rattle. I mean, this is not Jake Brake. They're accelerating. So what's worse? This 8 inch straight pipe or the.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't even enforce this. Can you? Wow.
Well, you see plenty of cities and towns that have, the signs posted as you're coming into them that, Jake brakes aren't allowed,
Emergency only.
emergency only. But I don't know that in my 30-some years that I've seen it ever enforced, really. And honestly, it's pretty hard to enforce
It is.
when,
Well, it's the emergency clause.
right?
Our deer ran in front of my truck, or a rabbit, or what? How are you gonna?
Car backed out of the driveway, partly.
Unless you have it all on videotape.
I don't know.
Well,
I get it.
they
They requested a
They
sign.
requested something be done at the town level, and I put this together. I mean, it's not great, but it's a draft, and if you wanted to, you needed something to go to the county, because you're gonna have to get permission from them on
'Cause that's
county
on
Yeah,
County
it's a
highway.
highway. Yeah.
County Highway A. You have to get permission from the county to put a sign on there. They won't enforce any of it.
Right. They're not going to enforce
The
any of it.
our local officers would enforce it. So, and then I started reading the email from Mike Hilks, and I'll just read what he wrote 2 years ago, actually. I would like to suggest an ordinance against engine braking in the town. So, apparently he wants it in the entire town. And I would suggest even just in our area, but I am not sure that can be done. Now, the other thing that bothered me is we happen to live in the area around the bends on Highway A, which forces trucks to adjust their speed. So does he want the entire county trunk A? I mean, where do you start and stop this thing?
Right.
I understand cities, because they can put a sign right at their city limits and it takes care of their entire
Yeah, it's
municipality.
gonna be
And it's a
tough.
different animal because most of the cities have lower speed limits and you don't have a county highway running through it as well, and that much semi-traffic using it, so.
The other question I had is, and I'm not a truck driver, Dave, you might know a little bit more, but from what I've read is some of these trucks, these Jake brakes are automatic. They don't even have to flip switches or whatever they do. I know they open the valves.
Usually, I mean, all of our trucks have, they're off. They have 3 different levels, or you can set them up so that every time you step on your brake, the Jake brake automatically comes on. The other way you can set it up is every time your foot is not on the accelerator or the brake, it comes on.
Yeah, so this ordinance that I found, a couple of them I found, they are more related to mufflers, engine brake mufflers. The use of engine brakes not equipped with working engine brake mufflers per state statute are subject to fines. So to me, you have to have a muffler that's gonna cut down some of the noise. Is that true?
It is true because, you have a Jake brake and then you have an engine brake. Our trucks all have exhausts that are underneath the trucks. They do not have stacks. And when the Jake brakes are activated, they're actually quite quiet. Yeah. So it just all depends. The younger the driver, the more noise they like to make.
Anyway, you need an ordinance in order to go to the county at the highway commission, so that's your first step. If you want to pursue it, if you don't, whatever. They can turn us down too.
Let's move it to the county. Can we get a motion to move it to the county?
Okay, I make a motion that we take this draft ordinance to the county highway commissioner
Second.
for approval.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion and decision and resolution for proposed changes to the police department fee schedule.
Okay, so this is something that's provided by our past chief, Mick, just so they had something in place clearly outlining what the fee schedule was. I think they get a lot more open records requests than in the past, and they just needed something in place.
Do we want to do this now, or do we want to table it and let new police chief?
I think, ask
Look
him
at it.
if he needs to look at it
Have you
further.
looked at this at all?
Rama gave me a copy of
Fees?
it, or I looked at it.
Okay.
I don't think it's unreasonable. It all seems to be fairly standard for services that a police department would provide for an open records request. So, and I don't think actually they're probably on the lower end. So I think it's fairly reasonable all around.
And I think what we can do is initially get this in place and then roll this in with our regular fee schedule going in future so that it can
Yep.
just be updated once a year with the rest of the fees as
And
needed.
that, to me, would make the most sense to have all your fees in one spot so that they're always looked at
Right.
at the same time.
Yep.
So do you have a suggestion on these, on where you would like to see them, or because you said it's on the low end?
I'm okay with that. I mean, I haven't been in the position, so I don't know how many records requests he's really taking or was taking. So I think it's a good place to start, and in a year, if we do an annual review, then we could take a look and maybe increase if we need to.
Sure.
You know, if we decide to go with the resolution, it will need to be read just like any other.
Yep.
Resolution number would be 0514.
You guys good?
Yeah, I want to read it.
I'll read it. Resolution 2024-0514, Town of Lake Mills fee schedule. Town of Lake Mills Mills Police Department fee schedules, whereas the Town of Lake Mills Board has determined that it is prudent to create and update periodically a general fee schedule for the police department to provide efficiency, economy, and uniformity in establishing and adjusting the fees charged by the Town of Lake Mills Police Department as enumerated throughout the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinances and for administrative purposes into an abbreviated general schedule. And whereas the fees set forth in the fee schedule append the fees in the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinance, and whereas the fees set forth in the fee schedule may be added to or amended from time to time by adoption of a resolution, and whereas the town board shall review the fee schedule on at least an annual basis for the purposes of adjusting and updating the fees charged by the town police department, and any amendments or additions thereto may be made by resolution. And whereas the fees set forth in the fee schedule shall supersede any fee established elsewhere in the town's code of ordinance for the same charge. If a fee is set forth elsewhere in the Town of Lake Mills Code of Ordinance or via a resolution, and there is no corresponding fee set forth in the attached fee schedule, the fee set forth elsewhere in the Code of Ordinance or the resolution shall control until such time as a fee for the same charge is established in the fee schedule. And whereas the town gives the authority to collect fees outlined on the fee schedule on behalf of the Town Police Department, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Lake Mills Board approves the following fee schedule as defined in the attached schedule dated May 14th, 2024, and be effective upon passage of this resolution and posting of this resolution. Adopted May 14th, 2024.
Make a motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Motion carries. All right, H, discussion or decision of proposal to combine Parks Committee with Plan Commission. Parks Committee is probably only gonna meet quarterly from here on out. And I thought it might be beneficial to try to reduce our volunteer number and maybe create some incentive for the Plan Commission going forward as well. I've been kind of trying to find a home for it. It just seems like it's excessive. It creates more work for Robin. I think it fits more into the zoning type stuff than essentially the lake type stuff, but that's just my opinion. So I don't know, as it gets harder to find.
But those two committees are like night and day, so why would you be combining those two committees?
Well, I'm
It just
just
doesn't make any sense.
discussing with the board here, so let them discuss first.
How do you think that would work? I mean, what's your, the logistics of it? They would meet once a month too,
same
time? I mean.
No,
would
not,
you have-
no, not
You'd
necessarily.
have still 5 members doing both?
Correct. And so the times that aren't met by the Plan Commission, if there's nothing to work on, essentially could fill slots for essentially the Parks Committee. I mean, there's not an entirely ton to do with the parks. So that was my thought, that it might be nice to streamline it, but
I think part of the issue right now is that the Parks Committee fails to have a quorum on a regular basis, so things are not moving forward.
yeah. Well, it's tough, yeah, to get people all on the same page. And
So instead of 5 plan commission members and how many do you have on
5.
parks?
5 on parks.
10.
That's what I'm
Instead
saying,
of 10,
a
you're
lot of
going down
people
to
want
5?
members.
Is that what you're talking about?
Right, we would eliminate the 5, would give us a pool of, another pool of 5 people to essentially, go to other places too. But it's just food for thought. There doesn't need to be a decision made on tonight, obviously.
I think you need to run this by the plan commission. The only thing is, after being on plan commission for a number of years, it's fine if you don't have a lot of applications, but the minute you get a subdivision or something,
Yeah.
you're swamped. I mean, it's
Yep.
a lot of work.
Or the work you guys put on for the comprehensive plan, that took a lot of work too.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's understandable, for sure.
I just want this to be put on the plan commission's agenda to be discussed, and if you could present it
Sure.
Or you want me, or whatever, at the next meeting, somebody.
Sure.
Present what your ideas are and how it would work. 'Cause-
So if we get someone to volunteer for the position on the Parks Committee, would this then become kind of a moot point at this point, or you still want to explore it?
Well, what?
Because we have a vacancy on the Parks Committee, I believe.
Correct.
So if we get someone that's interested and we have a full committee then, does this become a moot point, or
Not
you still want
necessarily,
to
no.
explore this?
No, I think we should still explore it.
Okay.
The other thing is, each one of these committees has an ordinance which creates
Correct.
them. So those both would have to be redone, combined,
Combined, yeah.
reworded, however.
Yeah, it may or may not work. That's, the attorney may recommend completely against it, so.
Okay, so put it on, I would make a motion that it be put on the Plan Commission's agenda to discuss next meeting.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion or decision of creation of a non-sworn officer position for boat launch permit administration.
Again, I put together a draft today, I'm sorry, threw it together today, but.
He had time.
Yeah, I had time. I had nothing to do today. So, this is from, I don't know, came out of Sun Prairie, and then Wisconsin Dells had one too. Anyway, it's just a draft to get the ball rolling and food for thought. Again, it would be an amendment to town, already existing town ordinance 1-8, Town Police Department. And it would add the section on parking enforcement. And this is because we're looking for someone to do the ticketing and collecting fees out at the launch sites during the summer, during the summer months.
And Bob, that's been doing it forever. He's
Yep.
the oldest living police officer, I think, in the state of Wisconsin.
No joke.
Still working.
Yeah.
Will officially not be law enforcement, I think, after a certain shortcoming date coming soon.
Yeah.
So this is where it evolved from. So I don't know what your thoughts are on it.
I think-
having somebody like that.
I would suggest that we just give this and let the police chief look at it, ponder it, digest it, think about it.
Yep, I can,
This is gonna be.
and we can talk about it at the next meeting then.
We have
Put it on the
time.
agenda there.
Yep.
Yep.
So I make a
Absolutely.
motion that we table this till the next meeting.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Yep. Discussion or decision of the Town Hall Facilities Committee tasks.
Okay, so obviously the referendum has failed at the April election. The designer that helped us came back and called me not too long ago and suggested that he revisits the overall design to see if we can get costs down, to see if that's something we would want to reconsider. If we can get the costs down, do we move forward with the referendum again, or the question again? We have a new chief on board, if we want to revisit the design with him, or if you would like us to look at what we currently have and what needs to happen here. We just need some guidance if you want the committee to continue or not.
There was one mention way back when at one of the meetings, and I don't remember who it came from, but the potential for looking for an existing site. Coonies, I don't know what they're doing with their building.
Yeah, they haven't started
Yeah,
construction there.
Whether that would be a feasible option to renovate or something along those lines, that would cost substantially less. I don't know if it would or wouldn't.
That's kind of a prime location, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it's assessed at $500,000, that building,
Okay.
that property.
Which is,
A lot less than 2.3 million.
Right.
yeah.
Concrete floors would, qualify for the pounds per square inch.
There's big garage doors for
Yep.
police rigs
Cars.
and potential ambulances.
I think you also need to know whether or not, what work the building needs to.
That's it. Like there would be renovation, and renovation's not cheap either.
No.
So we do know that.
So looking at existing sites would be one thing you'd like us to look into. Anything else?
If it exists, if that opportunity would exist. or
And you're talking
exists.
about existing buildings that currently exist, not just another buildable site.
Potentially.
No, buildings.
You wanna look at buildings?
Yeah, buildings.
Need a site.
Okay.
Other questions?
Anything else you want us to explore?
No, the only other thing I was gonna mention is, the trouble is, and especially at the, municipal level is, if something like that comes up for sale,
We can't jump on
you
it.
can't jump on it fast enough, so you have to be prepared, so would be time, it would give us time to, if that avenue exists, to open up talks and see if it actually is feasible or not. I don't know if it is or not.
The other thing, if you do fund a building that has a large overhead door, and we can put an ambulance in there, that's $2,500 that you could put towards it for a rental fee.
For a loan, you're thinking for like a loan payment, if we had to take a loan out for it?
Correct.
Okay. Anything on the current building? I know we don't want to probably get too far in the weeds in it, but for sure, we have to replace that front window. It's cracked. It's getting worse. So that has to get done. Do you want us to explore other remodeling or updates to this at all?
I mean, you don't like our 70s paneling anymore?
It still works, but that's not essential. But the other things that may be essential is fixing the windows,
Washing the outside.
washing the outside,
Well,
fixing
I would say
the
that-
gutters.
I would say the ADA bathrooms or just a different restroom setup. I think that has to be investigated. Unless you're going to get
I think once you start down that path, you have to do it right, though. And
Yeah,
that hallway,
yeah.
I don't think is going to meet that standard.
Just a quick comment, the parking lot over there will be getting eliminated, coming up pretty soon. So, just letting you know that that'll be changing.
It's already been eliminated by Topol, so no worries
I'm
there.
saying night parking and evening parking and all that stuff, availability to park in that aisle to be able to drive through is, the calendar's moving, that I'm not at. This is nothing to do with County S property, honestly, it's just letting you know that
Right.
progress is quick and the calendar's moving, buildings are happening across the street. And I think the developers are coming across this corner fairly soon, so.
And I don't think a lot of people in the town realize that kind of crack that goes right down this pavement on the side of the building, on the other side of it is not town property.
I think we only have 18
It's like
feet.
5 feet on the other side
Yes.
of that crack.
We only have 18 feet from the
Yeah.
building.
Right.
Yep.
Really can get 2 cars through on
Yep.
that side. So,
One parked, one will get through, that's it.
Yeah.
turn your mirrors into drive.
The city doesn't write parking tickets for the extra boat trailers, so they're not going to write parking tickets for a town hall meeting.
Anyway. I have.
There's other mechanical issues here, that does not work.
Yes.
Right.
That's a decoration right now. As far as the bathrooms, I really think you could make them work by just taking out those partitions in there.
Okay.
And leaving, you only need a 5-foot radius, to make them ADA, I think they would make it.
Okay.
Just make one, or
But you take the urinal out of the men's room, you don't need it.
Go
Just
uni-
make it 2 unisex bathrooms.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or 1 unisex bathroom, tailored partition.
I
You could
have
make 'em
seen the
work
men's
right there.
bathroom, and if we don't have to share it, that'd be fine with me.
Well,
Keep one of each, that's good.
pardon? You want
One of
to-
each.
Yeah.
But I really think you could get close to making those work.
I think like the toilets themselves need to be
Oh,
updated.
all that stuff's gotta-
Yeah.
But if you're staying here,
Can't clean it
I think you
anyway.
want a heat pump in this wall, something electrical heat pump that provides good silent air conditioning during meetings and things, and heat during supplemental heat. It's all electric now anyway, so electric heat pump in the wall works good. Would be another one in the police, in the office, and get rid of that decoration. That one works, so, that decoration
Yeah,
works.
sometimes it gets left on.
It's not plugged in.
It doesn't work with us.
You can have it.
I get it as far as the cost of replacement and all that stuff, but Jim, I understand what you're saying because we've battled with it for years, especially in a hot, humid, 90+ degree. But you hate to see us throwing good money after bad.
I agree. And you and I.
We'll fix it all up, and then Jason will come in 5 minutes. He's got it out of here with the excavator.
Well, I think,
You and I aren't gonna be around much longer.
Right, yeah, yeah. It's
okay.
only a year.
A year.
Robin, only a year.
Shush. One thing going back to the parking, and just so people understand, I have investigated other places actually hold our biggest issue, which is the elections, and there really aren't any other places we can go to. The school district's willing to help us make something work, but then if there's a code that happens at the schools or anything else, elections have to halt. And the state wants us to avoid that as much as possible as far as,
Yep.
because then we would have to have an order by a judge to extend the hours at the end of the day if there's like a 2-hour delay, things like that. And that can get really messy with elections, and prefer not to go that route.
Yep.
We want to keep it clean and functioning correctly.
And there is a few townships that don't even own a town hall. It's all rented.
Yeah, you gotta find a building.
Right,
You gotta
yeah,
find a
it's
building.
yeah.
Right.
Jefferson is in St. Coletta's building, beautiful building, they rent it. I wish we had one of those in this,
Yeah, we don't have one.
beautiful.
And no, the town hall does not have to be within the municipality, other than, I will say, it does cause some confusion.
Kunis, I think, is in the township.
Yeah, it's in,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
the
is.
township,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right
that
now.
one is.
Yep.
But if we're looking at other existing sites, something to keep in mind. So what I'm saying is you want us to look at existing sites that have buildings and any reasonable updates to this building. Anything else? Do you want to look at the design plans, or we just want to not even consider that at this point? Okay, because I need to let that designer know.
You know, I don't know, Robin. I have a couple brother-in-laws that are carpenters, and you know, the day of $125 or $150 per square. A lot of these houses they're building are three
Crazy
and a
right now.
quarter. So, Jim, that's right. Where
yeah,
Yeah.
you were talking with the town hall.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right,
exponential. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we need a
Let's
motion
see,
for that?
yeah. I make a motion that we continue with the Facilities Committee to investigate purchasing or properties for sale and some fix-up, remodeling, renovations to this building, estimates. Look into all that.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Are you going to have someone talk to Coons up here? I mean, because there would be a lot of lead time, and they haven't started construction. Maybe we could be way ahead of the game and get something going, because
They were here when they brought their plan here. And
Right.
They were outside, and I did talk
I
to
put a
them.
bug in one of their ears
Yep,
too that I talked to.
Yep, I told them, they said that Badger Truck and hotel that's supposed to be built.
oh sure, yeah, I see both of them.
I'm
Yeah.
probably interested in the site, and I said, well, you can put Town Lake Mills in that pot too. So, you know,
I think the price
if you
tag
got,
just went
yeah,
up.
the price keeps going up. And then you get
Right.
interest, it's going up.
Yeah.
Especially when you're competing with a hotel and Badger
Yeah.
Truck.
It's
But
not
anyway.
a horrible looking building, you know.
The other question I have is, does the town need to start, if we're able to, put any money away into a capital fund for something going in the future?
Well, you know, the law changed just recently. After a referendum, the state changed the law, so you can borrow money for 20 years now without going through bonds. And that was the reason we went through the bond process, because you could only borrow 10 years.
Right.
Now, they've changed that law, and you can borrow up to 20. So if you can work it, you don't even need town approval. You just go buy the building if you could keep it within your tax revenue.
Yeah, most municipalities do it.
I know, but you can go to state trust fund loan and you
Yeah.
can borrow from a bank for 20 years now instead of just
Right.
10. So that might help a little.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
But we do
I'm
still
not
would
saying
need,
we're gonna do anything without getting.
but we still would have to get electoral approval for purchasing land and for selling land.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to amend that. That's
You don't have to go through a referendum. is what
Okay.
I'm saying.
I just
We
want
didn't
to.
have to do that the last time. But they wanted us to.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to amend that the land is with an existing building for potential renovation in that motion. If that's
Oh, yeah.
so that's clear.
Oh, potential. With building. Got it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Okay.
Correspondence.
I had gotten that notice about the annexation, which is for property on Linden Street, and I believe the reason was because they had to do something with the septic.
Sewer and water.
Yeah.
So we had 2 properties there, and we'll still have 1 left, or only a little island?
I believe there's still 2 left,
Still left.
2 left.
because Wendy Wolfgram is there, and then I think her neighbor. I can't think of her name. I think
Walter
there-
Ware?
Yeah, I think there's 2 left there yet. I'll
The
double
one on
check.
the end is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Zoomed in?
Isn't that the one?
3, I think.
3.
Jason plows it. Town of Lake Mills plows it, so.
You know, sometimes that's been kind of a question, who should do what on that, because
I
there's
know.
some tree issues and
Yeah.
and such too, so.
Correspondence from Greg Waters that passed. On the IGA for the
Annexation.
city. No, IGA for the city for
Oh, okay.
inspection
Oh.
services.
Okay.
That's good to know, okay.
Discussion of future agenda items.
Next month, we'll have the liquor licenses on. Of course, the tabled item for the
ordinance.
1-8 amendment. We'll do the, what else is next month? I think after most of them, probably the IGA for the Cambridge. All right.
Meeting scheduled, May 16th, 2024, open book of assessment, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Town Hall, June 4th, 2024, Plan Commission meeting, 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, June 6th, 2024, Board Review, 4 p.m., 6 p.m. at the Town Hall, June 6th, 2024, Parks Committee meeting, 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, June 11th, 2024, Town Board meeting, 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, June 13th, 2024, Joint Rock Lake Committee, 6 p.m. at City Hall, 2BA Town Hall Facilities Committee meeting, 6 p.m. at Town Hall. Just to reiterate, Board of Review is 4 to 6 on June 6th. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.